Well, good afternoon, and live from CSU Bakersfield Small Business Development Center in downtown Bakersfield, it's time for another in our series of the virtual brown bag webinars hosted by the UC Merced SBDC Regional Network, serving Central California. I'm Kelly Bearden, Director of the CSU Bakersfield SBDC, and I'll be your moderator today. We have another interesting topic for today, the one-page business plan, a concise way to find that business model and do business planning that most of our small businesses don't do. But before we begin today's webinar, a little information on your local SBDCs. So the UC Merced Regional Network is one of 6 regional networks in California and encompasses 14 different counties from the Central Coast to the Nevada border, all along the eastern Sierras, north to the tip top of Tuolumne's and Stanislaus County, south to Kern County, and we have 5 centers located within this region. We're located at CSU Bakersfield, but there's also 4 other service centers in the region at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, CSU Monterey Bay, the Alliance in Modesto, and also CSU Fresno. So what do we do? Well, first we interact with this webinar. And I'd like to just show you a couple of quick features. Is if you look at your dashboard that's located on the right side of your screen, you'll have the capabilities to hit the question box right there. You see question, there's a right arrow, click on that box and it'll open it up and allow you to ask questions. If you want to chat with the moderator or ask a specific question or have a technical issue or something else that pops up, you can hit the chat where the right-hand arrow will open up that particular box and give you access to actually chat with other people on the webinar. So do please use your question box, and all attendees are muted, so your microphones aren't working. We'll have some polls that'll be used to gauge today's audience and try to find out exactly where we are. And also, which is very valuable for us, is the survey at the completion of today's webinar. If you would please go in and actually leave your comments on today's presentations on topics that you would like to hear in the future and any other topics that might come up. Also, if you want the presentation, the slideshow from today's handout, please leave your information in that particular survey and we will complete the slide handout and email it to you. So at the SBDC, you're probably wondering, what do we do? Well, we provide high quality, no cost, cost is already absorbed in your tax dollars, confidential one-on-one consulting in a variety of different areas and disciplines. We have a lot of different consultants with a lot of different specialties. We have senior level consultants that are very experienced individuals down to engaged college students that are junior and bring a new dynamic. We offer a variety of training topics for small businesses. This is one of the mediums that we use frequently, but there's also a number of workshops, seminars, conferences that are also used throughout the entire 14-county UC Merced region. We do at times in-depth business classes, and we work on a variety of special projects, and we always serve to advocate our small businesses. So our chief stakeholder, one of our main stakeholders, is the U.S. Small Business Administration, and the National Administrator for SBA, Maria Contreras-Sweet, recently said that the counseling is almost as important as the lending when asked about the functions of SBA and what they do. So obviously, the consulting and the counseling that is provided, the advising from your local SBDCs is a real important tool and one that we really encourage everybody listening in to, if you have questions after today's seminar or webinar, to please check with your local SBDC. So today we have a great topic, the one-page business plan. And hey, I'm a man about concise. And when you're getting down to one-page business plans and And some of the other tools that we use, such as the business model canvas, it's great getting these tools and being able to use it, get concise to get to where we want to get. So our presenter today is going to be Bob Kramer. And Bob is the president of Visionary Strategic Consulting. He is a CMC, which is a certified management consultant, and holds both an MBA and MA degree in what, Bob? In business management. He's a graduate of the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. He retired from the U.S. Navy in 1992 as a lieutenant colonel and is a verified procurement individual working with Department of Veterans Affairs. And he's also a certified disabled small business enterprise and a certified small business enterprise. And so we're going to get Bob over here on the line. And Bob's joining us today from our sister campus at CSU Monterey Bay. So we're going to turn it over to Bob. And Bob.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. Welcome to all the attendees. I always respect people who take a risk to learn things, and I have found over the years that those who take the most risk to learn profit the most. So I'm hoping this will be profitable for you. Take a look at this. I hope you can see it. It's quite, I think, stunning in its effect. So I want you to know that to hit your targets, you need to plan. And without planning, there could be a disaster. So welcome to the one-page business plan, a better tool for you in terms of simplifying the business of business plans. I know that all of you are cheering and shouting on that issue. So I really call this the orchestra model of business, so getting everybody on the same sheet and playing beautiful music in harmony together. So let's explore this opportunity, and here are some of the things I'm going to do with you today. I want to understand your experience with business plans. We'll do a poll on that. I want to identify the root causes of the major 10 causes of pain for business owners. I think you'll find that interesting. And I want to discuss the 5 universal business plan questions which the one-page plan addresses. And then we'll explain the 5 elements of the one-page plan. And we'll end after about 35 minutes with a Q&A period. So you might want to queue up your questions, write them down. This is going to be a very simple procedure and process to learn. No rocket science here. And anybody can do this. And I have found over the years that it takes about 45 minutes, a little coaching and a little prodding to get people into a very, very clear, concise business plan, and they finally really understand what their business plan is all about. So what's in it for you today? I want you to learn the logic of the business plan. I want you to learn the format. And I hope to inspire you to create your own one-page plan, at least a draft of one. And if you like, I can actually assist you if you care to do some phone coaching. And then you'll learn some sources for help with a one-page plan. And there are plenty out there. So with that, let's get off the runway into flight. The first question that I have for you, just to find out what your experience is, have you ever written a business plan for your business to get a loan or for funding or for any other reason? So let's take 30 seconds and do that. Kelly, are you there? Kelly, you there?
Yes, and everybody is jumping on the poll. We have 34% so far yes, 67. Let's give it another couple of minutes. Have you ever written a business plan for your business to get a loan or funding? Yes or no? Couple seconds, we'll close the poll and share the results with everybody. That shows that no, 64% yes, 36% Bob.
Okay, very good. It looks like we have a majority of people listening that have experience with the business plan. So I'm happy about that. Those of you who haven't, you're in for a real treat, and you may be able to avoid some pain here. So let's go on poll 2. Those of you who did who created a business plan, what about the process? How was it for you? And here are 5 choices here. Those of you who have not, maybe you want to state what you'd like to be able to have when you do your business plan.
And the poll's underway, Bob, and we're getting a lot of people that are frustrated. And then it's kind of split up. Got a 52% of you that have voted. Give it a couple more seconds and give you a last chance to get your vote in. And then we're going to close the poll. We're going to share the results with everyone. And what we're seeing is 42% frustrated, Bob, and 26% are satisfied. So kind of a mix between frustrated, it really sucks, just kind of I'm happy, to where you get kind of a half-half mix, Bob.
Okay, well, I'm sure it was none of my 10 clients, SBDC clients that are online that said very frustrated. Well, I hope it wasn't. Have to ask them, but anyhow, yeah, that's par for the course. This is the equivalent of writing a master's thesis, and for most people, you're really expert at what you do in business, but the writing side is a whole new task and a whole new side of the mind that requires a different skill set. So I can understand that, and I've been with a lot of people that have experienced the frustration, and I usually get a lot of it really sucks comments as well. Let's go to the third poll. And from your experience, what was the greatest difficulty in writing your business plan? I'm looking for really the specifics here. It may be other. If it's other, just put all of it.
Okay, we've opened the poll, and please select one of the following. Didn't realize you were getting a pop quiz when you signed up for this webinar. But greatest difficulty in writing your plan: researching the marketing plan, competitive analysis, competitive pricing, and financial projections. Another couple minutes, and I say minutes, I mean moments, and we'll wrap this poll up. So we have about 68% that have voted now, a little over 70. And let's close the poll. And here's your results. From your experience, the greatest difficulty, pretty much in the financial projections part, Bob. Okay. Also a little bit on the competitive analysis and the pricing.
Okay. Those are typically, again, very much in the norm. There's a special way you have to project and do it in such a way that the numbers really tell the story that link back to your business plan. And people struggle with that because it is a skill in doing Excel spreadsheets and making sure they link together, and the terminology is very complicated for most. It's a necessary part of every business plan because funders and bankers, they're looking at the financials and they want to see that they make sense, that they're conservative in profitability for the future and liberal in expenses, because usually there are lots of surprises. Okay, let's move on. Last poll. Let me ask you, very honestly, if a friend or family member approached you and asked you to invest between $5,000 and $10,000 in their business, would you do so if they didn't have a business plan?
Well, and let's open that poll up, Bob. I know if a friend or family member asked me for $5 or $10 grand, I'd probably take off running the other way.
I was going to say, leave town.
But how likely are you to invest? Select one of the following: 75%, 50, 25, less than 10, 0. And this is with no business plan at all. And sharing the results, 82% of you have voted, almost 88%. So, wow, great. Let's close this poll. A lot more decisiveness in this particular poll, and we'll share the results with everyone. That shows that about 70%, Bob, would not invest in a family friend business with no plan at all.
Excellent. Well, that shows that you are good business people and frugal and prudent investors, because you would want the individual, obviously, to have gone through the details of thinking through what it is they're trying to do and making sure that it's truly competitive and that they are knowledgeable and capable of executing that. So the business plan is, though it's a big pain in the rear, it really does, it is a teaching vehicle. And probably no business will ever conform exactly to your business plan. But you need to be able to think through it. You need to have the mental agility of understanding how the business will work. So we try to simulate that in a way with the business plan. So what are some of the business pains that people have in growing a business and a business plan? You see a Rubik's Cube there with a Kleenex and a guy who's really contorted here. These are some of the issues that you're going to face in the business plan. For those of you 30% that have not, there's a lot of complexity, and it's hard to put all the pieces of the puzzle together. It's not impossible, but you have to struggle with it. But it's as I say, it's a learning process. And unless you really apply yourself and take time, energy, and discipline, as many will tell you, it really will not come together. So that's what we use SBDC for. We try to coach and counsel and guide you in that process, and getting it so you go confidently to a banker or investor and you can understand and explain what it is you've put together here. You've given birth, and you have to understand how to explain the baby. All right. We have a more formal presentation for those of you who are in business already. A wonderful book called Growing Pains by Framholz and Randall. I put in an excerpt here on the 10 major pain issues that business owners face. And I want to then talk about the root cause of these. Very briefly, I'm just going to cover these for you so you have a sense of what they are. People feel there are not enough hours in the day to get the work done. That's very true for business entrepreneurs. Too much time putting out fires. There are crisis issues that happen all the time, and so there's not the grace of time to help you out with some of those issues. People are not aware of or lack focus on priorities and objectives. That is really one of the most common issues that I hear the primal screams within businesses about, why are we doing this? Why is the owner acting so crazy? We don't really understand. People lack understanding about where the business is headed. There's no future outlook. There's no vision. Again, that's really one of the true tests of a business leader, is to know where you are, to know where you want to go, and to build a roadmap and to be able to explain that to people. Managers, key people within your business, are unaware of priority because they are directing activities to get results. Number 6, people feel that I have to do it myself if I want it done correctly. Major transition for business owners is to try to delegate. They don't trust people to do it as well as they will. However, the gravitational pull of your operations will always limit you in the potential to grow your business. So you have to delegate. Meetings tend to be a waste of time. Yes, that's chronic. Little or no planning with no follow-through, so things just don't get done. Because you can talk and plan all you want, but you have to execute. Employees are confused about their role and function. The business grows in sales, but not in profits. Now, that's thousands and thousands of business owners talking about their growing pains. The root cause of all this is the lack of effective planning and focus. When people know what you're trying to accomplish and you're focusing their activities and their jobs on the activities that are most important, then work gets done. There's execution, and that's critical for every business, is to be able to do things. So getting the ducks in a row is really critical. The other thing I want to tell you about this is that you have to be able to work on your objectives, your goals. If you're doing anything else that's not related to your objectives, chances are it's not going to relate to any positive outcomes or results that you want to have happen. So how are you using your time? And that's a planning issue. Are you using your time well? Are you planning? Every business owner or entrepreneur should have a 12-month horizon. You're using an annual calendar to plan and organize your time so that you can accomplish what you need to do. And we're going to talk more about that. All right. So enter the one-page business plan. A really great tool. It's a generic planning platform. And Jim Horan is a close personal friend, and I had the privilege of beta testing this tool 23 years ago, and I've used it hundreds of times with business owners, much to their satisfaction, I think, and mine as well. Also, we have this program is being taught in 22 universities across the country. We have more than 24 Fortune 500 companies using it, and we even have a few Fortune 100 companies. So we're not talking about, some, plain vanilla peanut butter and jelly program here. We're talking about something that really works, and where complication interferes with execution. We have a tool that can rescue us from the complexity of business. Now, why did Jim create this? Jim is a Fortune 500 CFO, very skilled in the financial side of business. And in his job, he got tired of hearing people not knowing what was going on or what they were required to do, especially from the numbers side, which are really critical. And he said, there's got to be a better way to help people within a large, complex organization understand what's going on. There's a total lack of alignment. So he created the one-page business plan, and he's got now 5 books that are proliferate in different areas of nonprofits, for financial investment, for women, and for creative entrepreneurs, and for the IT section. So this is really something important. And by the way, this book is the #1 best-selling business planning book on Amazon.com and now Costco. So why a one-page business plan? You want something that is simple, it's focused, addressing the major questions of business, using keywords and short phrases, so you don't have to be a poet or an author to write this beast. It paints a complete picture. Everyone can understand. In 5 to 10 minutes, you can give this to people. They could say, yeah, I get it. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know why we're focused on those priorities. And it's been proven for over 20 years. It's still a very high-selling business planning book, and it's copyrighted, and Jim's doing very well across not only the United States, but also around the world. I call it the Swiss Army knife of planning because it is a generic planning platform. And I recommend to all of you that you keep this format in your back pocket because it can be used for anything. It's a company activity, a project, a program, an initiative. It can be used as a superb executive summary. In fact, I think that every business plan should have an extracted one-page plan just to show exactly what the business plan really says. It can be used for a profit center or a department or program, and that's what it's used for in many of the larger businesses. I've talked to numerous bankers over the last 20 years. They said if they could get a business owner to come in for a loan with a one-page plan and the financials, they could do more loans. Unfortunately, they have to work with the business owner to align the business plan and get it up to speed in order to go forward with the financial and the loan. Investors love it because they usually do not take the time, energy, and effort to read a long plan, and it can be used even for a personal vacation. So again, it's a generic planning platform. It can be used for anything you want to plan. in your life and in your business, even for your kids' education if you want. So I really encourage you to learn the process. All right, we have 5 universal business plan questions. It's kind of in the what, where, when, where, why, who, and who. And we're going to explore those right now. So the first one is very important. The vision. Where are you going? What are you trying to build in 3 to 5 years? That's important because you have to know what the rate of scaling is. How aggressive will you be? What is there realism to your 3-year outlook in terms of the rate of growth and what you must do in order to achieve that? So we think through that, and we kind of spoon feed you with a template. And the template says something like this. It's a fill in the blank. Within the next 3 years, grow your company name into a $100,000 gross revenue business, serving the region, whatever region that might be, or the local city. Could be national or international as well. And what kind of type of company is that? It's a company that serves manufacturing companies, for example, providing highly precise products, manufacturing parts for companies that need precision. And our customer base is going to be large manufacturing plants, car dealers, and let's say retailers who specialize in machine parts. So that's an example of what you would do. That would probably take you maybe 10 minutes to do that, and you have the embryo of a template. What's most important is that the gross revenue figure, which talks about the scale of the business, is meaningful and realistic. You want something that's a stretch and kind of gets the blood flowing, but you also want something that's realistic and you think you can do. It may change in the future. Okay, the next one is the mission statement. Why does your business exist? In 15 words or less. Why do we say 15 words? It's because if you can't remember it and your staff can't remember it, you can't do it. It's not there. And even the clients probably and your customers don't remember it. So it's very important that you craft a very well-made mission that has the right words in it, because that's your anchor point, and you're going to build your business around your mission. Every customer senses and is exposed to your mission, and it shouldn't be to be awesome. It's just probably a little bit too nebulous there. So most mission statements are rather plain vanilla, and I don't want you to get the impression that you have to be something extraordinary like create the new Apple phone, but you should be differentiated in a meaningful way, and you should be able to address what the customer problem, need, and desire is, and solve an unfulfilled business issue. You want to express what the customer benefit is and what their value sensing is. It's similar in a metaphorical sense to crawling on to the top of a hill and planting your flag and say, we are the only business that does it this way. Your methodology, your way of treating customers, your process, it must be something special and differentiated that asks the question, why choose us? Why choose my business? All right? I like the word only. If you could say only, then you have something very meaningful as a mission statement. And you can claim that and protect it and move forward. Because chances are, in most of the businesses that you're thinking about, there's lots of competition. And that's okay. But you have to differentiate yourself because you don't want to be just like everybody else. Okay. Let's go on to the third universal business question, and that's, what will you measure for success on your business? There's a typo there. So this is your business dashboard. Now I want you to think about being in a cockpit that's black, all right? And you're flying the business plane in the cockpit, and all you have is instrumentation. So this is what you need to understand how your business is progressing. You need the metrics, what we call the key performance indicators of what your business is doing, what decisions you're making, and what's the result of those decisions. So the critical factor is to be able to graph it. You'll have, for example, sales, and you'll have the date. So you're going to graph your sales over time. That's what you must do with each objective. Each objective must be a quantitative outcome of your business, giving you an indicator of how well you're doing. All right, so we have a formula for that. We have a verb, a noun, a number, and that equals the objective. So here's 3 examples. Achieve average sales of $15,000 per quarter. All right, can you graph that? Sure you can. Every quarter you'll have what actual number you achieved, hopefully closer or greater than 15K. Another example is develop 12 new products, average 3 per quarter. Could you graph that? Sure. You can graph it probably by month or by quarter. And then the last one, reduce total cost of goods sold by 2% monthly. You could also graph that. So you have to be able to see what you're doing and what performance level you're achieving in your objectives. Very, very important that you don't say, we'll do our best. It's got to be quantitative. Count noses, count widgets, track time, whatever it is, but it's got to be graphable and got to be quantitative. Okay. Our 4th universal business question is the strategy. How will you build the business? And the how of this is most important because it's about activities. It's about energy moving forward, doing specific things that will achieve your objectives. Remember, strategy is linked to the objective. And each objective, there must be at least 2 or 3 specific strategies or activities that are critical to achieving the objectives. The objectives are what you're going to do the high fives and pop champagne at the end of the year. That's what you achieved. But how did you achieve that? That's where strategies come into play. Strategies are important because that's where the business is going to spend time, money, and people doing things, execution of things that are important for the business to grow and to scale. So let's look at some examples. Here's some strategy examples. Increase my client base by conducting seminars, chamber networking, and or aggressive referral program. All right, again, all of that's going to cost time and people and money. Here's a second example. Create add-on sales by contacting customers quarterly, increasing the number of sales reps, and or offering incentives. And the third, attract and retain key employees by bonus awards, 401k program, and paid vacations. So I think you can see that you have to be very specific here. Otherwise, it doesn't work. You can't achieve the objective by saying, we're going to increase sales. That doesn't mean anything in terms of helping you achieve the quantitative outcomes that you mentioned in your objectives. So I hope you see the relationship between strategy and objectives. They're kind of Siamese twins. Okay, action plans is the last part of the universal questions, and this is also very important. What is the work to be done over a 1-year period? It doesn't matter when you start, but you're going to look at 4 quarters. Now, action plans are initiatives, programs, and projects that are going to increase your gross revenues, hopefully your profits as well. So we have what we call the time wheel. Now, this is often totally misunderstood by people that I work with, my clients, in the sense that they want to do everything at once. They want to do everything in the first quarter. Well, everybody's extremely busy. You know, I think those of you who have been in business know it is just you can get lost in the gravitational pull of your operations and all of the things that you have to do to keep the business running and keeping your staff and your customers satisfied and happy and improving the business. So we have a timeline. We have 4 quarters that we can work with. And my recommendation to my clients is to put no more than 2 initiatives, programs, or programs in each quarter. You're going to take a risk with those to grow the business. These are things that are going to be additional value add to the business, and you're going to have to address them with other people and their time and maybe some resources, some financial resources. So no more than 2 in each one, and that's what we do to action plan. The fourth quarter, everyone should be focusing on their strategic plan, updating their 3-year look, updating their business plan for the next year, and remember, taking a 12-month horizon, planning your marketing issues, and looking at what you need to do to bump up your objectives and your sales. And then lastly is the budget. What budget do we need to be able to support all those activities? So the fourth quarter is already busy. It should be a given. Okay, let's look at some action plan examples. Here's the first one: update my business plan by 3/31/16. Now, you don't have to have a specific date. You could say no later than. You can have a time frame by this week, by this month, but you need to use time that's available in order to avoid crisis reaction and be able to plan for that particular promotional activity. Number 2, apply for an SBA loan by that date and complete prototype. It's very simple, but you're thinking in the future about what will increase, bend the curve, we call it, the profitability curve of your business. So planning, again, becomes a methodology to support what time you have available and what you need to do to scale the business. All right, so let's look at a real live plan. This is actually taken from an actual business plan. I want you to see what it looks like. So here's the vision statement. Within the next 3 years, build California Garden Window Company into a $2 million home products company, specializing in manufacturing, distributing custom and replacement garden windows and skylights. Pretty simple and very basic, but it starts the process of thinking into the future. So you've now got 3 years to scale to $2 million, and you're going to, it may change, but for now, you're making decisions that are based upon this vision. You're going to cross the gap from where you are now, right now, to where you want to go, starting with this premise. All right? The mission. Remember, 15 words or less. Bring light, air, and the beauty of nature into each client's home through creative windows. All right? Perhaps a differentiating statement here that makes this company unique by developing creative windows. But hopefully the market would be stimulated by this mission statement and prefer this company over others because they do have an interesting mission statement that may be somewhat compelling. Our objectives. Remember, this is you're in the cockpit. These are the key performance indicators. You're going to make decisions based upon these objectives and how well you're doing over time. They're all graphable. Increase gross revenues by 15% to $750,000 by the end of the year. Achieve profit before tax of $32,000. Reduce cost of goods sold to 38% by the year end. Reduce distribution costs to 4% of sales. Reduce inventory to 3.3 months by August. And achieve 98% on-time delivery with 98% accuracy. These are all examples of things in business that you would use to see how well you're doing. And they all should be meaningful in terms of growing the business and making it more competitive. All right, strategies. How do we get to those objectives? Remember, activities moving forward that are time, people, and money. Focus on upscale home developments and baby boomer remodeling trends. Okay, specific. Build California Garden Window into a nationally recognized brand name and a leader in the central region. Okay? Become a vendor of choice by maintaining inventory using social media marketing and satisfaction ratings above 90%. So those activities are really almost business plans in themselves because you have to execute on those, and they're going to focus on your activities in the business to help you execute those strategies. And action plans for this company: introduce new scenic garden windows at the product show by February 1st, hire new sales reps in Los Angeles, San Francisco, no later than April 15th, phase in new packaging design by March 31st, and reevaluate an annual business plan no later than November 2016. All right, you can see that there is a project, initiative, or a program, and there's a date. All right, that's going to drive planning efforts and execution throughout the year. All right, so we have a one-page plan. Very simple to do. It's not simplistic. It's simple to do, and we can get you into a space of very clear, simple, concise, focused, prioritized, measurable, and understandable, and bankable plan within about 45 minutes. That, to me, is a very practical tool to have for any business owner. And I promise you, you will see how your business is put together and have a chance to really sew the seams together. It's a remarkable tool that helps us all be better business owners. Okay, if you want some resources on this, they're available, Amazon.com. You can buy the book, and there's a really nifty CD-ROM, which has all kinds of great tools on it, templates for you to play with in your business and apply. They're almost, I think if you were to try to develop the templates that are in the CD-ROM, it would cost you $10,000 or more. It's beautifully designed so that you have Excel spreadsheets that link to each other. If you want to look more about the one-page plan and do some research, you can go online and check them out, see what they have. We have something called the point-click plan, which basically is a CD-ROM that you input to your system, and it makes choices for you, and we're able to actually export a business plan in half the time with probably some additional work to do, but basically it's a spoon feed on almost every aspect of the business plan. And we also have the one-page planning and performance system, which allows larger businesses to have a system to align all the one-page plans within their company and departments. Very nifty system. I've used that with the Chambers of Commerce and the YMCA and others, where they've really had a great system of alignment throughout their company. If anybody wants to, I'm available to talk about helping you through your one-page plan. I've done that many times. Happy to do it. You have my number and my email. So we're now at the point of question and answers. I hope that I haven't been too fast and too furious in the process of explaining it, and I'm hoping you're going to capture this as a future use for your business. So thanks for listening, and I'm open to Q&A.
And Bob, we do have some questions, and those of you that there's still time to get a couple questions in for Bob, but the ones we'll start with, how about this one? I use my plan as a managerial tool. Well, first of all, that's great. I really like hearing that because too many small business owners don't. To get everybody on the same page, is this a good tool for that purpose?
Well, as I mentioned to you, picking up a well-crafted one-page plan, you can understand it in about 5 to 10 minutes. I just think that's the obvious, glimpse of the blinding obvious. That's the purpose of this tool, is to make something complex simple so that everybody can understand. If everybody understands, they can execute their role in contributing toward the business and the objectives, hopefully the growth. So yeah, it's a superb tool for helping everybody understand.
Okay, our next question is, after the attachments to the one-page business plan, what is the average number of pages in the one-page plan?
I'm going to just paraphrase what you've asked me. The one-page plan obviously is one page. Are you talking about the financials, the pro forma?
Right, as far as any attachments, financials, and otherwise that would be included?
Sure. I think that the financials would probably be 4, maybe max 5 pages. You have your assumptions, you have your 3-year projections, monthly projections, you have your 4th year quarterly, and you have your 5th year annual. So however you format those, could be more or less, but 4 to 5 pages.
And the next question, Bob, is what, if any, is the most important section of the one-page business plan in your opinion?
That's a great question, and because I'm always asked that. And in truth, if you talk to Jim Horan, he'll say, no, they're all equally important. You can't have a one-page plan or a comprehensive look at your business without every one of the elements of the business plan. So, but I will just interject my own bias, and I think the vision is the most important thing. And I say that because everybody is exactly positioned for the results that they're getting in their business right now. Those results are the basis based on previous decisions you've made to get you to this point. It's like any football team. The football team with the coach is getting the exact results that they deserve based on their practice, their routine, their playbook, and the quality of the athletes that they have. So to me, the vision pops you up beyond old habits. You have to have new habits, new thinking, doing things better, faster, easier, cheaper than what you did before. And I will invoke Einstein's definition of insanity. If you keep doing what you've always done and keep thinking what you've always thought, you will continue to get the same results. And if you're looking for different results, that's the definition of insanity. So the vision forces you to go beyond the old habits, get new habits, do new things, take more risk, and move the business forward. And every business has to have that kind of philosophy in order to scale.
Okay, Bob, we have time for one more question, and that relates to resources, and we've had a couple based on templates. Are there any one-page templates available either from SBA or other resources online?
Oh, absolutely. There are literally hundreds. I mean, it's just mind-boggling. This has been 23 years now, and you can go into well, for example, images of one-page plans, and they proliferate. And there's no secret to developing a one-page plan. You've got vision, mission, objective, strategy, and action plans. You can put together your own template. We have a little bit colored one, and I'm happy to send a colored one to anybody who wants it. But the key thing is be able to answer the questions and fill in the blanks with meaningful information that allows you to put your business plan together and make it coherent.
Well, great. Well, that's the last of our questions, and